Hey there, guys. Let's get right into it. This is your boy Carl from Let's Talk. My name is Carl E. Long, and welcome to my podcast, guys. And let's get right into what people are talking about. What are people talking about? Today, we're going to talk about canceled culture. Canceled culture, right? That means if somebody does something wrong and we follow them, they're a celebrity, we no longer support them. So we cancel them out, right? You know, it's a big old deal and it's happening more than often. So, what is the subject of today? What is the subject of today? Should fans cancel Snoop? Snoop Doggy Dog. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. So, if you don't know the story, if you've been under a rock, Donald Trump's inauguration, he just got elected, of course, we know that. And there is always this large slate of stars at the inauguration. There's balls. I've actually been to the inauguration balls. I went to Obama's second one, and there's lots of parties. There are acts, and people are just dancing, and there's everything. And so there's a crypto ball that was sponsored by Trump, and Donald and Snoop was asked to perform at it, and he accepted, along with some other stars as well. So the whole hype about it is like fans are up in arms about Snoop performing at this inauguration, especially because of this. And this is the reason why everybody is up in arms.
Which one of you jigaboo ass gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out one of you Uncle Tom ass for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? I was the one that performs for himself.
So that is.
All right, so those were his own words back in 2016 during the first inauguration when they went crazy over one of the performers, Chrisette Michele and Travis Green. They actually performed at that inauguration. And we'll talk about Chrisette a little bit down the way. But this is what's going on and what has happened. Now, in addition to Snoop performing, there were a bunch of other stars, notably stars that performed. We had, of course, there was Mr. Nelly. He was there. And he was interviewed. I can't remember the podcaster or the person that interviewed him. And he had some crazy reasons. Like he was proud to be asked. And nobody's ever asked me to perform before. So, Nelly, your answers were the whack and people came at you really bad. And then we had Billy Ray Cyrus. I mean, a lot of these people, you know, they come from the South and you don't expect anything less because they come from a place where, you know, we can expect that kind of thing, that they're going to be more Republican-like. And so I'm not surprised about that. But what I brought him up was because all these people that accepted, their performances ended up being trashed out. He had all kinds of sound problems at his thing and ended up running across the stage singing a cappella, as well as Miss Carrie Underwood, who had to sing the America the Beautiful a cappella because her audio wasn't working. So Republicans are not good at this. They're not good at handling big entertainers to come with them. So you had those people, and I wasn't surprised about Carrie Underwood. She said some things in the past that made you think that she is also one of those that would do it. So that's not the deal. And then let's go back to Snoop. And he said this in 2024, which kind of surprised me. In a January 2024 interview with the Sunday Times, Snoop said that Trump that ain't done nothing to me. He has done only great things for me. He pardoned Michael Harris, so I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump. Really, Snoop? After you put that big video out about calling everybody else stupid and fitted and jigaboos and whatever, this is kind of ironic and people are not accepting it that well. And it's very hard to understand why you accepted this, you know. And we'll talk more about it a little bit down the way. So Snoop has become this icon with the white public. He really has. Ever since his association with Martha Stewart doing the Olympics. So he has become more accepted by white America. So he's one of those figures now where he's kind of left his area. He came up from, South Central. He's from Fresno. Fresno is where he's from. He's come up for those ranks, and now he is up there in the upper echelons. He's on The Voice now. He's doing things, and he's getting a whole different take on life. And nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. But white America has really embraced Snoop. It brings me to the story of like MC Hammer. MC Hammer was one of the same kind of people that did that sort of thing. White America embraced him. He ended up doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And he kind of just sold himself out. And the brother ended up broke and not doing so good. So I don't want Snoop to go down that road. And that's kind of what it's looking like it's going to happen here. If he don't get a hold of what's going on and really understand what America is trying to say to you. We're trying to say something to you, Snoop. I know you don't care. You'll probably let us all have it and give us your words, but he really hasn't spoken out. He really hasn't said anything about it. He has not said really a word. I've looked everywhere to see if he said anything. He just posted a video of him at the Crypto Ball, which telling us, pretty much telling him, I'm there. If you don't like it, I don't care. That's kind of what he kind of gave us on that whole deal. So there you go. So going back to this video.
Which one of you jigaboo ass gonna be the first one to do it?
Well, apparently that's going to be you, Snoop, because you did it. Yeah. And I don't have anything to say about Nelly, Carrie Underwood, any of the others. I don't care. But Snoop is kind of a natural treasure when it comes to black culture and hip hop. And it was a slap. It was a slap in the face to us all. And it makes you wonder what happened with Snoop. And where is his mother? And I had to look that up. I said, where's his mother? Do y'all remember when Gayle King did the interview and she asked Lisa Leslie, the basketball player, a question that didn't go over well? Basically, she was asking about some of his alleged problems that he had. And everybody came for Gayle. Gayle was canceled. And Snoop came hard on her, you know. She came hard on the questions that they were asking Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant. And America, they canceled Gayle so quick. I mean, Oprah had to come in. Oprah was crying, trying to explain what Gayle's questioning came by. Gayle was just being a journalist. But what happened was, if you remember, Snoop's mother called him and told him, you called her right now. I did not raise you to do that kind of stuff. And he did. And he apologized. But I just read that his mother, Barbara Tate, I believe her name is, she passed away in 2021. But do you think Snoop's mother would allow him to do that? I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think she had lots of wisdom, and she wasn't about to let her son go through what he's going through right now. So, yeah, so that's it, Snoop's mother. So here's the other thing that really irritated me the most was all these people that are coming to his defense and everything. And the one that really is irritating me the most is Stephen A. Smith. And we're going to listen to some of the things he said. Let's just listen to some of Stephen's points as to he claims that he is helping his buddy. And Snoop apparently wanted him to come and talk to the people because Snoop doesn't want to talk to them. And he's making it sound like that he is representing Snoop because he's talked to the brother. And here's some of the stuff that he's told the American people, especially the American black people. Let's take a listen.
Snoop has had a relationship with for decades. David Sachs is that cat when nobody else put their hand out offering dollars to Snoop's football league and beyond. That brother does it. That brother's ready to do it now. So we got to take all of that into consideration. Nelly threw out the money as well. He ain't trying to be political. He's an artist. And he was paid to perform, and that's exactly what he did. Don't get me started with what Soulja Boy said. He said the same exact thing. Now, he said it in a very abrasive and excessive fashion. And I thought that was unnecessary. But if that's his lingo, that's his lingo. The point is the point. He sat up there and pulled out a bag of money and said, did anybody offer me to perform? That's what they did. So we see all of that going on. And we understand what that is. But back to Snoop Dogg, because that's who I know. Back to Nelly, because that's who I know. Nelly is not a political person. Nelly doesn't get involved in the campaign.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. What does it have to do with whether you are a political person or not when you're making a stance? Everybody doesn't have to be political to make a stance. When we vote, you don't have to be political to make a stance. Some people aren't political at all. That was stupid. Let's listen more.
Nelly does perform for people who will pay the right fee, etc., as an artist. And he is somebody that don't want to get involved in all of that and believes in respect.
Get involved in all of what? All of what? Taking a stand against racism? Is that what you're talking about? All of that, Stephen A. Smith? Give me a break.
Respect in the office because of the power that comes with it. That's his position. Like it or not, you gotta respect it because there's plenty of hypocritical asses out here in this world acting like they don't do it and they do it every day. But you gonna come at him because he went and sang a few songs at the incoming president. See, that's the BS right there. And that's the kind of stuff that's gotta stop. Back to Snoop, who I know. Not that I don't know Nelly, but I know Nelly. That's my brother. I love him to death. But we ain't as close as me and Snoop. Did y'all know that Snoop never exercised his right to vote?
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Snoop is a smart guy. What does that have to do with anything?
In his life until 2020? Did you know that? I'm telling you what Snoop told me. I have permission from him to say this to y'all. If he didn't want me to tell y'all this, I wouldn't be telling y'all none of this. Because I ain't violating nobody's trust. I can have my opinions without violating trust. But he's giving me permission to say everything that I'm saying to you. He never voted in his life until 2020. I never knew that. Had I known that, I'd have gotten his ass. I'm his brother. I believe in exercising your right to vote. Your ancestors and the sacrifices they made. Damn it, one power tool you have is to make sure you vote. People died for you to have the right to vote. Snoop, I love him. I love him to death. I'd have gotten his ass. You got to vote. He voted in 2020. He voted for Joe Biden. He spoke against Trump in 2016, spoke against him in 2017, voted against him in 2020. So everybody want to be like, well, what's the problem now? What's the problem now? I'll tell you what the problem is now. But before I get into the problem, let me show y'all a full screen of Mr. Keith Boykin.
All right, so before he goes, so Keith Boykin used to work in the Obama administration, and he is often a panelist on CNN on Abby Phillips, the only show that I really watch, Abby Phillips' show. And he was on the round table, and he was basically saying, which I agree with 100%, that any black person that does all this stuff or these three reasons should not be supporting Trump. Totally agree. So this is where he comes in and tries to justify Snoop.
This guy is a political commentator, I assume. I don't know his background. I'm not casting any aspersions on him, disrespecting him in any way. I'm sorry, I've just been busy and I didn't have time to get into it. I saw him on CNN giving political commentary on Abby Phillips' show. And while he was on there, he said this. I want y'all to see this stuff on the full screen.
Okay, let's look at what, this is what Keith Boykin said on the Abby Phillips show. He says, any black person who performs at Trump inauguration dishonors black families he refused to rent to in the 1970s. Check. The black kid he wanted to execute in the Central Park case in the 1980s. You remember the Central Park 5? Check. The black Haitian immigrants he lied about in the 2024 election. Check. Those are three reasons to not trust this guy and to dishonor anything that he does. We need to stand together when it comes to dishonoring and not normalizing. And that's Keith's main message, is that we have normalized Donald Trump as if he's some normal president, and he's not. So let's go on.
Because you need to know. Any black person who performs at Trump's inauguration dishonors, quote, black families he refused to rent to in the 1970s. The black kids he wanted to execute in the Central Park case in the 1980s. The black Haitian immigrants he lied about in the 2024 election. Remember when Trump was saying they're eating dogs, they're eating cats? Remember that? That's what Keith Boykin is talking about, along with various other things. Let me explain to you why I'm pissed. I'm not talking about Keith Boykin. Mad respect to you. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope your career continues to elevate, my brother. I'm not speaking against him, only his position. And the reason that I preface my comments by saying that is because I'm going to show a level of respect to him that most people don't show to me. You don't like my opinion, so you attack me. You personalize it with your petty BS. You can disagree without being disagreeable. So I'm not talking about Keith Boykin. I don't know him. I'm talking about his point.
All right, so let's just go straight to his point. I'm going to go straight to his point here and let you hear what he's saying, okay?
Inauguration. So does that mean you don't have any respect for anybody black who voted for him? I'm not talking about myself because I didn't vote for him. Does that mean you don't have any respect for black people who sat there and said, I'm interested in the economy? I'm interested in inflation. I'm interested in protecting our borders. I'm interested in elevating our national security. I'm interested in keeping the streets of the United States of America as safe as possible. What if their reasons and their rationale for voting strictly pertain to that?
Okay, now that's where I lose it with Stephen A. Smith, okay? So basically, here is his justification. His justification is, if you don't agree with Snoop performing at the inauguration, you also don't agree with all of the black people that did vote for Trump. You're calling them, and yes, we are calling them that. We are. I don't agree with anybody, African American, that voted for Donald Trump. I don't understand it. I will never understand it. And there's no justification. So what you're going to see the next 4 years that's going to be thrown around quite easily, it's going to come out of every Republican's mouth. Well, the American people, 78 million people voted for him, and da-da-da-da. That's what you're going to hear. And this is what America wants. America was misguided because they were misled. All right? We know that there are people that are forever Trumpers. They're going to be there. But the ones of you that crossed the aisle because you thought he was going to do all this stuff for you, because you got some crazy thing in your head and thinking this man's going to save the world, you were misguided. So no, I don't have any respect for anybody that did that. And I don't have respect for Snoop for doing this. I don't want him canceled, but I don't have the respect that I had for Snoop before. I thought he was much smarter than this. I really did. I've been watching him grow, and I love how all people have just kind of embraced him. I liked his relationship with Martha Stewart. I like what he's doing on The Voice, and him and Reba McEntire and the whole team. He's just been a good guy. I like him. I like who Snoop has become. And then he does this move. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And, it brings me back to the way that they dogged my dear friend, Chrisette Michele. She is an R&B singer, and she did the deal back in 2017 when, hey, the waters were much deeper and much harder than they are now. And this girl went ahead and she crossed the water and she did it. So she recently was on the YouTube channel for my good friend, not good friend, I love his show, Terrell, who does a lot of stars and they sing and things like that. And he asked the question. So, and I hope this is okay to show your stuff, Terrell, but I'm going to show what he put on here when he interviewed Chrisette. And this girl went through hell because she was canceled by everybody because she and Travis Green performed for the first inauguration of Donald Trump. Now, here's the thing, and this is what she says. Travis Green didn't get the flack that she got, and that shows misogyny because the woman got more flack, kind of like Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. She got dragged through the coals, and he didn't. And she had to pick herself up. I love her music too. And, I felt some kind of way about her because I was like, why would you do that? But listening to her, I get a sense as to where she was. So let's just take a listen to what Terrell was able to pull out of her. Okay, so here's that interview right here.
It felt like, I guess, the black community was feeling was when you accepted the invitation to perform, it was like you were a part of the tokenism. And you were doing it for, I guess, the clout of a man that we been knew was gonna be a disgraced, twice impeached, one-term president. Personally, me, just between you and I hate that you did it. I wish you did not do it, because I feel like your intentions were good,
it was the wrong thing to do. I've never said it publicly, and I knew you were gonna talk about this, and you're the first person who I said, don't tell him what to ask, because I trust you that much.
I love you.
My question has always been, what was Travis Green's intention? I just want to know. Because his album became #1.
Wow. Woo.
That's just one question.
That's just one question.
No, because
there's several.
that's antagonistic, and I'm not very antagonistic.
No, I get it.
Because Blame It On Me is my jam. I meant
Show
that.
song,
It's
yes.
like, you know what, girl?
Yeah.
Learn from that.
Totally.
But the question I've never said out loud was, what was Travis Green's intention?
And that...
Were we singing his song? Did he start the first verse? Was I singing backup with a choir that still sings to this day? I just want to know why no one saw them.
And I need the explanation for that. I really need it. And that was part of my frustrations, because I knew you both when you did it.
So basically what she's saying there is that out of everybody that performed there, Travis Green was there. There was a black choir. There was everybody that was there, and she was there with him. She sung in the set with him, and nobody was pulled out of that except her. She was the one that was canceled out of that whole entourage that performed for Trump in the first inauguration. Let's listen again.
In 2016, and it always plagued my mind. Tell me what you think it. Well, I'm gonna tell you, and then you tell me what you think, because I already hinted it earlier. It's just the difference in tone of how we treat our black men and our black women. There is a major difference in how we handle these situations. I mean, some of our prominent black men can go and kiss 45 on the forehead, and we're still winning Grammys and call them the greatest of all time. It's a problem for me. Keep it consistent. That's all I'm saying. Be consistent if we're gonna do it.
I don't know for sure that it's a gender issue. That moment was the moment where I learned how petrified I am of rejection. My mistake in my personal growth journey with the inauguration was wanting to be seen as a good person. And when you are trying to be validated, you will quickly be rejected. Because people notice when you are wanting to be a part of something. They notice that, and they may not realize that that's the subconscious of who you are, but they can see the insecurity. So you can't stand on that stage insecure. So the difference between me and Travis was he was very secure, and I was petrified.
Wow.
Because I was trying to be something, and he already was.
So do you regret it? You wish you did not do it?
I don't regret it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my fears. I learned about my insecurities. I didn't know I was that insecure until I was rejected, and I was
My
like,
goodness.
do I even like her?
Wow.
You know? So.
Did you and Travis talk about this situation, the aftermath?
Did we talk? No.
Wow.
No.
No conversation, no sit down, no I see you, black woman, no. We can get through this together, no help, no nothing.
But I also changed my number. I changed my life. I went into like hibernation. And really got quiet, because if I would have listened to everything everybody was saying, I would have lost my mind. Who keeps their mind in that kind of an environment?
How did that call come in for the
From
invitation?
my agent. Regular agent call.
What was the call like? Did they go through the pros and cons of it with you?
Oh no, it wasn't that kind of a thing.
What kind of, how did it?
What are you doing on whatever day that was?
Yeah.
January 17th. What are you doing? We have an offer. It was very simple. And immediately, as soon as I heard it, I said, oh my God, we can make people feel, we can do something. Because when you're crazy enough to think that you matter, when you're crazy enough to think that you can be a star, that's an outlandish, strange, ridiculous, preposterous idea. The fact that I think that I'm going to travel around the world and sing songs and people will hold hands is insane. The things that were going on in the world, to my ears and my eyes, was, what can we do to make this a better place?
Some say you did it for the money. Did you get a big old fat check for it?
I get checks all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a very normal part of my life. No, I did not do it for the money. I did it for exactly what I just said. And it wasn't a strange check. It was a regular check.
Regular check.
No, I want to be clear. You know, it wasn't like, oh, this is the most.
Yes. It didn't feel very presidential for the coin of it all.
You don't get paid to do political.
All right, so she goes on to talk about how she basically learned more about herself by doing this. And I think that she was a little bit naive in accepting it, because she probably thought, hey, everybody's going to be doing this stuff. And then here she is just took it. But like Stephen A. Smith was saying, some people aren't political and they're not listening to the noise. And I think that she just got caught up into, hey, the president wants me. And she took it. Jennifer Holliday was asked to sing the national anthem that year, and she pulled out. She was going to, but then she started listening to the noise that was coming from her people, and she pulled out. Unfortunately, Chrisette didn't get to do that. She had to be canceled. She had to go through it. It was good for her because she learned some things and all that sort of thing. So, I mean, that's why I'm trying to think about Snoop. Snoop, this is going to be hard for him. If you go out on X right now, oh my God, and just search Snoop, he's been canceled so badly. It's just so bad. It's just like post after post after post. I was going to pull a few and just show them to you, but a lot of them were they were not nice. I just didn't want to further push that out there on Snoop, because I do still honor him and his music, but I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. I don't want to cancel him, but I am so disappointed that he didn't understand what the assignment was. He didn't get the assignment. And what is the assignment, guys? The assignment is, we as a people, African American, black people, I'm not asking anybody else in there right now, because we need to get our stuff together. We need to start standing together and standing on some principles of things. We need to start standing on some principles of things, because this is the way that we are going to be able to stand. If it wasn't for our ancestors doing what they did, I'm sorry about that, doing what they did right here, boycotting these buses, they stood. They didn't want to do right by us, so we stand together and we'll do something until you do it. We didn't mind walking. They walked. That was a long time. It was like 2 years. I think it was years. It wasn't just a few months. They did that for a while. They didn't ride the bus, and they got the word across until they finally won. Yes, the sit-ins that they did. They wouldn't feed us at the counters, but we stood together until we won. We got to do more of that. And Snoop, you left the fold. You left the fold and you went over there. And we don't know why. We cannot normalize Donald Trump. I'm going to keep saying it. People keep saying you. I'm going to keep saying it. But these pictures, you see that bus right there? That's a bus as a result of, that's one white woman that's on there. Because we stood together as one until we can fight this injustice. Until things are right. The fight is not between left and right. It's between right and wrong. And we got to remember that, guys. We have got to remember that. So as I look at these photos of all of my ancestors and people that came before us and what they did for us, to be able to vote, to be able to take a stand and not take that to heart, because I take it to heart very much. I love history, and I love I love learning about what we have done. We're learning about stuff that happened and stuff that we did that was great, that has been like pushed away. All of this stuff has been happening to our people. And when we have someone, a treasure like Snoop, Mr. Brodus, to do what you did, it hurt us. It hurt us more than anything. So, Mr. Brodus, if you happen to ever see this post here, this podcast, or listen to it, please note that the vast amount of people that are coming against you are not hating you, are not trying to do that. They're just lashing out because they're so hurt and they're disappointed. And I know you had your reasons. And I know one day you're going to figure this out. And you're going to figure out how hard it is, but like I said, I don't believe in cancel culture, but there are consequences for sometimes some of the things that you do or think about doing. And it'll happen. Like when Gayle King asked that question, she wasn't thinking. I was like, Kobe Bryant was a beloved person, and you asking the kind of question that you were asking to make it seem like the criminal activity is more important than his death, you were out of order. And we heard that. So this happens. This is going to happen to a lot of people a lot of times, like Whoopi Goldberg. She got canceled. She said something about Jewish people that she didn't mean to say it, but she said it in such a way that the Jewish community came after her and they took her off The View for a few weeks. And you have to pay the consequences. So he's going to have to pay the consequences of his actions because of what he said. These are the people that we have to remember. These people went to jail for us. They fought for us. And the least we can do is stand together as one people on the principle that Donald Trump is not for the black Americans. He's not. And he can make y'all believe that he is. He likes having a Snoop Dogg. Donald Trump enjoys having stars around him. He likes to be liked. This man needs to go to therapy so bad, it's ridiculous. He loves it when he knows that there is a black person around him, but he keeps him all the way to right here. I was thinking about Little John, the one that goes, "Drill down for what?" that sings that song. That song right there. He was on The Apprentice, and he was one of his last final ones. And Lil Jon has been noticed for saying that he went up to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump acted if he had never met him before. Oh, have we met? Kind of thing. And you're going, I was on your show for a whole year. We did. Lil Jon was quite relevant on that show. I can't remember if he won or not. He may have been first runner up. I can't remember. I have to look that up. But I'm telling you, that's what Donald Trump takes you right to here. He wants you there for a trinket. And that's it. So I know you had your reasons. I'm sure an agent called you, Mr. Brodus, Mr. Snoop, and said, hey, we got this gig. Do you want to do it? And then the guy that I understand that I heard that he did it for is someone he really respects, asked him to do it. And that's why he ended up doing it. So that's what happened, guys. So this is why we are asking the question. We are asking the question on Snoop. Should he be canceled? That's the question that we're asking. And my answer is no, he should not. We can be disappointed. We can be angry. We can ask for explanations and everything, but I don't think that we should ruin the man's career and his life just because he made a unjust decision. But he's going to pay the consequences because he can feel the heat. I know he feels the heat. He feels it. He's heard it. And he's probably somewhere hurting and trying to figure things out or mad. And I don't know if he's going to ever make a speech or stance or anything, but whatever he does, I hope he comes out with the right one. Okay? With the right one. So, that's my podcast today on should Snoop be canceled. And I hope this put it all in perspective as to what we're thinking and why we're at where we're at. And Mr. Snoop Dogg, I'm sorry, man, but that wasn't a smart move. It wasn't a smart move. I don't care if it was the crypto ball that was on a different night or whatever. It was Donald Trump sponsored. And he advertised you big time. And he did it on purpose. He did it on purpose too. Wow. Nelly, I don't know much about you, Nelly, but when I saw that interview that you did, your answers were just whack. So you're going to pull yourself up as well. I'm talking today about the national treasure of Snoop Doggy Dogg. Nelly, we love you too. I don't want to diminish your career by any means. But that's what we are. And I hope you guys have some comments about this. And give the guy a break. Let's give him a break. But don't feel bad about being disappointed or upset, because it's warranted. It is warranted. So guys, thank you so much for joining me for my episode 2 of Let's Talk. Speaking. Let's get to talking, guys. Let's just talk. My name is Carl E. Long, and thank you so much. And until we meet again, bye now.